What's going on, Philadelphia Eagles fans? It's your boy Philly Day One. And a couple of guys came up for press conferences. Lane Johnson, Dallas Goedert, Rick Woolen, and Jalen Hunt. I took a little something from each one of these press conferences, man. I think Nick Sirianni also. Nick Sirianni, but you know what? When you listen to Nick Sirianni's press conference, he don't really tell you too much of nothing. He makes a conscious effort not to tell you nothing. Either he don't know nothing or he won't tell you nothing. Either way, you're listening to it just to hear him talk. And I did listen to it and didn't get nothing out of it. So um, I got the Lane Johnson's press conference, which in this press conference he confirmed that he was 100% ready to go. I got that video for you guys, so I'm gonna bring it up. He also mentioned some stuff with the offense. We're gonna get into that in the video. Dallas Goedert came up. And as you would think, they asked him about him going to another place, him almost not being signed back, what made him come back, and what this offense is doing. Everybody want to know what this offense is doing. Offense is unproven. The defense is pretty much set in stone. And the offense part of the football is something he got into and pretty much good detail. I got that here. And I'm gonna give y'all my thoughts on it. What it means. Rick Woolen got up there. And one thing that I was very, very concerned with Rick Woolen is the behavior issues. I hate to talk, he's a grown man, and I hate to say it like that, but I think we got enough with Jalen Carter getting penalties we really don't need as a team. And I feared that Rick Woolen would come in and just add straight to the penalties that we already had. And he talked about that. Somebody asked him about it, and he spoke on it and gave a really good answer. And it kind of correlated exactly from what Vic Fangio had said in his press conference about Rick Woolen and the time penalties. And I got that video here as well. Jalen Hunt talked about what kind of stuff he plans on doing to get better in this season. He has been an overachiever, in my opinion. And in today's mandatory camp, he caught an interception. He goes into what got him an interception, what he was doing to get the interception, and I got that video also. We're going to talk a couple of guys who coming back from injury who looks pretty well. We're going to talk Makai Lemon. Last time we talked about Makai Lemon, he had a hamstring injury. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into the talks about Devontae Smith, and some people are not a believer. I tell you somebody else who is a believer. Harry Douglas. He was a slot wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons, and he came onto the podcast of WIP and expressed how confident he was that Devontae Smith would put up big numbers. I think every Eagle fan is pretty confident that Devontae Smith is going to put up big numbers. Not everybody else is feeling the same way. Also, we're going to get into the secondary line, who was there. We got some injuries that I don't really know. I think that there's injuries on the backup guard. I mean the backup O lineman. I think it's an injury there. They just ain't told us yet. We're going to get into Jalen Hurts' performance for the day and my thoughts on that. So let's get into it. Like I said, Lane Johnson did a press conference today where he pretty much confirmed he is 100% healthy. He is ready to go. What his take on this offense is, And he pretty much said this.
We'll be able to evolve some.
What's it like after 13 seasons to have a new O-line coach?
Hey man, I'm about it. Coach Cooper played for lots of years in the league, so not only coming to me as a coach but as a player, got a lot of respect for him. Super smart. I just think how this offense here will help us. I think we're just stretching the field, stressing the defense more. I think it'll help us with our run blocking angles. I think it'll help us some in pass pro. So I've never had like any guard help all these years. Like it's always been one-on-one. So having the ability, if I get beat inside, having a guard come out and help me is a big deal for me. So I'm me like you, very excited. So that's pretty cool. I think as far as performance-wise, I felt like I was still performing the same as I always have. Just I had this foot injury. It was, I've been able to play through stuff throughout the years, but this was just something that it took time, and that's something that I didn't have at that point in the season. So, it was probably around February, March where I started feeling 100%. But it took some time for it to heal up. But yeah, I didn't want to go out on that note last year.
Before it felt 100%, did you consider retirement? Was there a point where you didn't actually know you were going to come back?
No, I mean, I wanted to play. I mean, the only thing that's keep me, thinking about retiring is just family. Mom and dad getting older. You miss a lot of time. But other than that, man, I love this game so much.
How's the health right now? And it seemed in your career, like the foot and the ankle stuff is what bothers you the most. How do you keep it from?
Yeah, I mean, other than last year, I had a stinger, but other than that, I felt like I was fine. But it was the first play in Detroit last year. I went to power step and tried to anchor. And I felt my foot pop. I thought it was like plantar fascia on my foot. And then after like the next series, I took a bull rush from Aiden Hudson. I couldn't anchor, and I was like, okay, something's wrong. But yeah, it was just even like February, March is when I started feeling 100%.
Okay. That is good. Lane Johnson is somebody who has been on the island his whole career. He's had no help. Think how much better Lane Johnson can be if he had some help on the inside. He just didn't have to work inside the outside. Like, I think that he can be much better than he's ever been. And maybe it's a lot less stress on Lane Johnson as well, with him not having to do the whole shebang. Um, and you know what, they tried to hit him with he didn't say that. I didn't feel like when he talked about finishing out the season that he said something about retirement. You know what? You Philly media, man. You Philly media. It's almost like y'all tried to get him to confirm or think about retirement or whatever, so y'all can have a story, man. I know it's kind of dry, but y'all ain't got to do stuff like that, man. All right. Speaking of offensive linemen being healthy, Lane Johnson ain't the only one, man. Look, Landon Dickerson actually looks good doing these movements. He's a big dude, so it ain't gonna look like he's running a 4.4, but he looks and moves way better. Maybe those stem cells have been helping, and you getting almost healthy. Like, he might not be 100% healthy, but he look at least 90%. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Dallas Goddard. He came in and he talked about the offense as well. He talked about helping Eli Stowers. He talked about what you got to do to be a part of this tight end group on this team, and he talked about being the backbone. He did say this: the backbone of this offense. He said the tight ends are the backbone.
But a lot of the key emphases are a little bit different. I feel like through watching what he wants to happen, there's a lot of easy touches to the tight ends, getting the ball in space, scheming ways to get us open. So I'm excited for that. I think the tight end's kind of a backbone of the offense, both in the run game, play action, pass game. So I think it'll be a really good system to be able to play in.
The tight end position is kind of central to this offense. You mentioned that the tight end position is kind of central to this offense. How so in terms of like the blocking?
Yeah, it kind of starts. Lane kind of mentioned it. The point of attack. Possibly being on the front side of runs a little bit more. Starting where the running back's going to read. He's going to start out there and work his way back. But Yeah, I think you got to be able to block in this offense, and we've been working on it quite a bit, but I feel like it'll go as far as we can take it.
Me, you have to block, you have to receive. The tight end has to be a hybrid. Has to be a hybrid. Like the linebackers have to be a hybrid in Vic Fangio's system. You got to cover and come downhill in Vic Fangio's system. And in this offense, it's the tight end that has to be that person. So I don't believe Eli Stowers even get a lot of work this year. He got to learn how to block. And him coming from quarterback to tight end, he still ain't really learned how to play tight end completely. So I think that Dallas Goedert and Johnny Mutt are our tight ends going into the season. That don't mean that we're not gonna give Eli Stowers nothing. That we're gonna give him some shot. I mean, some. I think that we'll give him some time when we have time to give him. But we're not gonna put him in there if he can't block. So guess who else that I feel like that just eliminates? Greg Calcaterra. Greg Calcaterra can't block. He don't block well. So that eliminates Greg Calcaterra as well. So I don't believe that Greg Calcaterra even makes the team now, knowing this new information. And one other thing that I took from this is Dallas Goedert now is probably option number 2 next to Devontae Smith. It's Devontae Smith in the pass game. Pass game, it'll be Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, and I guess Dontavian Wicks or Mekhi Lemon, however they want to do it after that. But I'm thinking 1, Devontae Smith, 2, Dallas Goedert. Because he said there's scheme and stuff open for tight ends. And I can see that being big because Dallas Goedert can run routes and he's really good with the ball in his hand. Moving on, we're going to now that we talk about Mekhi Lemon. Mekhi Lemon was solid in practice. He had no limp. The last time that we talked about Mekhi Lemon and his hamstring injury, he had a sleeve on it. He was wearing no sleeve, no limp. So maybe they're being cautious with the rookie, and he's starting to get better. Maybe this don't linger as long as hamstrings normally do. All right, Harry Douglas went on the WIP to talk about Devontae Smith as wide receiver 1.
Anybody would be crazy just to say right off bat the Philadelphia Eagles as an offense, they're going to be better without A.J. Brown. No, there's too much nuance within this offensive system. I don't know why people are questioning Devontae Smith being the number 1 wide receiver. This is a Heisman Trophy winner. This is a guy that had 1,000 yards in his first season as a wide receiver, or if he didn't have 1,000, I think it was right underneath 1,000. But he's reliable. He can run routes. He can get open for the quarterback. He can win his one-on-one matchup. So it's a no-brainer that he's going to be a number 1. I think now, because you don't have an A.J. Brown, Mekhi Lemon is going to have to come along faster, right? I don't think gradually you can say, oh, Mekhi Lemon, it's going to take you 8 or 9 games. No, instantly right now he's going to have to make plays. Dontavian Wicks has been in this offensive system because he comes from Green Bay with Sean Mannion. And then you have a Hollywood Brown that can make plays and Elijah Moore that you can use in a varied of different ways. But they're going to live in 12 personnel, y'all. That's 1 back, 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers. Dallas Goedert's going to get the football more. Look at where Sean Mannion came from. The number 1 receiver last year in Green Bay was a tight end before he tore his ACL. Also, I think a matchup nightmare is going to be Eli Stowers. Getting him matched up with stiff safeties and linebackers who feel like they can guard, but the athleticism of Eli Stowers, I think, is going to stand out more. They're going to live in that 12 personnel and gradually work their way.
Like I've said in videos before, it don't bother me. I doubt it bothers Smitty, but if the league, not just the reporters and the writers and stuff, because they're not out there with Smitty, they're not gonna have to guard him. But if the league take this mindset, y'all think that JSN did some crazy work. Smitty is gonna burn these dudes to pieces. He do look a little bigger. And Smitty is the kind of guy, he went to school for sports science, like health sports science. So He knows what to do to stay healthy. Smitty, unless you're knocking him out every game or every 3 games, Smitty's gonna burn these dudes to pieces. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. But if the rest of the league think like this, I remember the guy from the Commanders was talking about Amos gonna guard Smith. Do it. I just want to see it. Got him the first game of the year. Do it. All right. Now that we talking about, we done got all the skill positions out. Let's go into the offensive line. Offensive line was your normal starters. Was your normal starters, but the second team you had behind Jordan Mailata, you had Markel Bell. Behind Landon Dickerson, you had Miles Hinton, and I think he came in as a tackle. Big dude come in as a tackle. And at center, you had Jake Majors. I think we drafted him last year. Um, and at right guard, you have Johnny. You got at right guard. At right guard, you have John Ojuwu. At right tackle, you got Fred Johnson. So I thought that maybe Cam Williams would have been there. Cameron Williams would have been at right tackle, but I don't know about that. Drew Kendall is a better center, in my opinion. And somebody said that he worked out. He did individual drills, but he didn't do any team drills. Uh, so I don't know what to say about that. I don't really know. Nobody said nothing about him being injured, so I don't know. Reek Woolen was asked about the taunting penalties, which I personally want to know about. I personally want to know about these taunting penalties. What's making you do this stuff? Your cost of the team. And he spoke on that. He also said something that I had no idea about. And
Your personal flags were a part of your year. How have you addressed that going forward?
Just celebrating with my team. Um, it's crazy because that's the most taunting penalties I ever got. If you look at any other years, I never got taunting penalties. Well, I won the year before, but other than that, I really wasn't getting taunting penalties. But I mean, whenever you make plays, you got to celebrate, and I just got to be smarter when I celebrate. And I'm with another team that has a lot of players on here who are very passionate about their game, just like I'm passionate. So we'll be able to celebrate together.
I feel like process for you to kind of figure out how to use that as an advantage out there on the field.
A little bit. I mean, I was a wide receiver first before I was a corner. Like I played 15 games of corner, 16 games of corner in college. So I was still learning year 3 and 4 how to use my length, and I feel like that's what makes me a great player. You can still be going along in your career, and you still willing to learn new things and add it to your game. So that's something I've been trying to do.
A couple more. We got.
yes, he started off at wide receiver and then he went to corner. So he played like 16 games at corner in college. That reminds me of somebody who played on the Legion of Boom. Richard Sherman was a wide receiver before he went corner and had a great career. Now he only on the contract for a year, but this is like really good signs because they got good ball skills. Like corners who were wide receivers first, they got really good ball skills. And I've seen the guy play, man. We know that he can ball. The real issue for me was the behaviors. Well, what he be doing. After a good play, he gonna set his back. But no, I think Vic Fangio said something about if he hadn't learned then, he'll never learn. And it seemed like he did. Jalix Hunt is somebody who is still making plays. He led us in sacks, he led us in interceptions, and he got another interception today. While he was in the press conference, he talked about that.
Man, I won't tell you anything about our offense, but what I will say is it's going to be dangerous. The people we have on that side of the ball is second to none in the league. They're second to none in the league. You have a powerful running back, a very capable quarterback who commands the team. commands the offense very well. We have a great receiving core just added with Lemon. So, Ete, shoot, it's pieces, firepower everywhere. So,
You have had a knack for dropping into coverage, picking things off. You did it in practice today. Um, Is that, is that a field thing? Is that just natural, or are you getting more comfortable and understanding?
well, that's what I played most of my life. I've always been around a ball receiver or DB. So, being in open space isn't too nerve wracking to me at all. But specifically about today, and just in general, the back end of the defense communicates so well. I know you if you watch a game and you look at the safeties, you'll see pointing, you'll see the corners pointing, and everybody's communicating about what's passing, what's crossing around. And I got a read from Keely, and so I was expecting the route to come. So when you're expecting something to happen, you're able to jump it. And
Hey, did y'all see how he tried to get him to leak the offense or what's going on? What's going on with the offense? But you know what? Jalen Hunt has been getting better and better and better at dropping back into coverage. So much so that I kind of always want. I mean, you can rush him. He can do it all. You can rush him. You can drop him back, and you lose nothing. You lose nothing. You don't lose no coverage. You don't lose no rushing. If you decide to rush him, he's a really good rusher. If you decide to drop him back, he's a really good zone player. This dude is always getting better. Always getting better. I love that about Jalen Hunt, man. All right, man. At the very end of the very end of the video, man, we're gonna talk about our leader, um, Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, today went 14 for 19 throwing. He had no interceptions. He had no touchdowns, but I guess it was like 5 incompletion passes. I think that's pretty good. They gave him a D. They gave him a D on it. But I think that's pretty good because everybody who was there was saying that the defense was dominating the offense. I've done these looking at these defenses versus our offenses almost every year, and every time that I go, oh man, we're gonna suck offensively because the defense is kicking our butt. It's never really like that. It's never really like that. So um, that is all I got, man. Like, comment, subscribe, turn those post notifications on so I don't miss no video. And we out. Let's go Birds.